Yo, what's up, people? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on, unless you've been living under a rock. This is what's been going on for the last couple of months. Yeah, it's Creatures of the Night. You know, you think you've heard it all about this in the last couple of months. Well, you're wrong. You know, we're going to review one of the many Soundboard concerts from that tour that surfaced recently. No doubt because of the box set or Super Deluxe Edition. We're going to look at Sioux City 1982 Soundboard. That's the official full-length title of this bad boy. Zodiac label, double CD, second night of the tour. We'll get into why I chose this. I couldn't really swing all 5 Soundboards that just came out, but we'll talk a little bit about them, why I went for this one, why I'm happy I did. Of course, we're going to get in the set list and review the whole show. I'll talk a little bit about the whole situation with the band at the time. If you're a Kiss diehard, it's basics for you. You know, I love Kiss, but I'm not a Kiss diehard, so did a little digging just to inform myself a little bit. I'll just share briefly what was going on with the band at the time. But before we get to all that, if you can like or subscribe, that would be awesome. All right. Like I said, hard to ignore Creatures of the Night right now, even if you loved it before. You know, if you hadn't listened to it in a little while, I'm sure you've been listening to it lately. I've got the 97 remaster here. Sounds pretty good to me. I don't have the box set. I don't have, you know, a warehouse to put everything up in. I have so many posters and extra things from my other box sets. If I had money to burn, I admit it, I'd get that Super Deluxe Edition. I don't, especially this time of year. Even at the $190 that it dropped to for a day, just not enough music for me. And especially, I have to admit, especially when 5 complete concerts come out, okay? That interests me way more. And you know, it actually, you know, I have to admit, it hinders me wanting that box set because, all right, so they're giving me parts of shows when full shows are out there. Me personally, I just like to hear, if there's a bootleg concert out there, I want the fullest version I can get with the best sound. Sioux City, 1982, baby. And of course, there's 4 more out there. The reason I picked Sioux City, it's got the most songs from Creatures on it. You know, there's one song on here that wasn't on any other show, at least out of the 5 discs that are out there, CDs that are out there. So, you know, I'm a full Creatures experience. I'm into Creatures right now, like everyone else is. And, you know, I just wanted the fullest Creatures tour show I could get. So it's this one. So we'll go down the set list in a little bit. Now, getting back to the Super Deluxe Edition just for a minute. Like I said, the swag is appealing, of course. Hey, man, if you love it, you're in heaven, I'm sure. I'm more just about music with bands. So lucky for me, I was checking it, you know, because listen, I have to admit, I've been looking almost every day for the past month. See if the price drops again. Maybe I'll dive in for $200 or whatever. Well, I'm on eBay and somebody looks like they bought a couple of them and parted them out. So I got the 2 discs I really wanted for $40, discs 2 and 3. All the demos and outtakes. Listened to disc 2 already a couple times. I'm just starting on to disc 3. Good, like a mixed bag of stuff that's great, stuff that's good, and stuff that's, you know, don't need to hear a whole lot anymore. But maybe I'm informing you guys. There are people out on eBay who part these things out. If there's a certain poster you're after or a certain part of the swag you're after. Actually, he also had, this was $40. He had the discs 4 and 5 also for $40 for the 2. If you just want those, he's got them for $40. Last I checked, I mean, this was a week ago or more. But that's just a nice option. You know, I guess the guy's selling everything separately and he's going to make twice more than what he paid for the box set. Good for him, but who cares about him? Good for me. So this was the most interesting stuff for me. And I already do have the album, so, you know, and I'd rather pursue the other concerts if I'm going to spend hundreds of more dollars on Kiss, Creatures of the Night related. And honestly, man, I really feel like it's a total missed opportunity here. I mean, how much more, even if it would have been, say, another $30, throw 10 CDs of live Creatures of the Night tour CDs in this damn box, for God's sake. It's already almost $300. You have a Strangers of the Night box set. 8 CDs, I think that is. It's $33 or something like that. I mean, so even if Kiss had to put the price up another $30, give us the full concerts. Do away with discs 4 and 5. You know, I guess they're not, probably had no idea those discs were going to get released widely anyway. So they probably put the box together thinking that a best of would be all that. So I guess there's that. I'm sure these things are in the works for a long time. Anyway, I mean, the thing is they had them in their hands, so they knew about them, right? So just give them to us, because now, I'm just not interested in the box set, honestly. I've got this and several others to go after, so of course we'll get to this soon. Sorry, man, I'm just rambling here a little bit, but it's Christmas time. I'm home. I'm off. We're decorated up. We're getting our ass kissed. All right, so what's going on with Creatures of the Night? I mean, the band's basically down to a trio at this point. Peter Criss's History. You've got Eric Carr in tow now, fully on drums. He was on The Elder. They're trying to follow up Dynasty with the sort of disco tag on that one. Unmasked, just a little too poppy and plain. Elder, great effort, great album. I'm just talking commercially what the opinion was. But, just not doing it for the old school rockers. So, Creatures of the Night, return to form with the hard rock. Done. Check that box. Eric Carr, I would say his drumming maybe on that album is a little overdone as far as the production-wise. I like the guitars to be a little heavier. It's almost like they were just out to prove a point that their drummer was awesome and loud. But anyway, he's great. So, as far as guitarists, Ace is done. And they have multiple session guitarists in and out of there. Vinnie Vincent being just one of several. Of course, you still got Ace on the front cover of the album. That was also part of contractual and promotional stuff. I think still, it still has that Kiss sound to it as long as you got Paul and Gene vocally and songwriting wise. Now, there were other songwriters involved at this point also. So there is that. But I'd say mission accomplished, reestablished as a hard rock band. Unfortunately, the tour didn't really, fans didn't see it that way on tour. They played to lots of supposedly half-empty arenas. So anyway, that's the story with the band at the time. They launched this tour. We are December 30th. The tour started one day earlier. So second gig of the tour, pretty awesome. The thing I would say about this, though, is on the plus side, a huge plus with listening to a concert like this is, unlike the album, where who the hell knows who's playing on what as far as guitars, right? It's Vinnie Vincent on stage. It's Vinnie Vincent's guitar playing. So that's kind of nice. Creatures sounds like a total Kiss album, yes, but who's on guitar on a given track? I have no clue. Maybe diehards out there know who played on which song. Sounds like there's a lot of debate, even among the people that actually did them, because who knows if you had 5 guys try on one song, which one did they use? It's just up to the band's memory, I guess. Who knows? And by the way, Vinnie Vincent was never really made an official member of the band, ever. Even though he was on part of the Creatures album, the Creatures tour, Lick It Up, part of the Lick It Up tour. So anyway, there's that. All right, so let's get to this. Let's get to Sioux City, finally. It's one of, like I said, 5 Soundboard bootlegs out there. This is the first one available. The night before the first show of the tour is not out there yet. The following night, Rockford, Illinois is out there. Toronto in January. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, partial show from February is out there. Houston, March of '83. Looks like most of that show, if not all of it, is out there. So anyway, back to our show. It's about 90 or 91 minutes. Like a lot of bootlegs, it does take a little bit of ear adjusting, and I would say with this one a little bit more so than most, I would say. What I mean by that is it's just, it's not perfect sound. Probably maybe give it like about a 7.7, somewhere like that. It's lacking dynamics, it's a little flat. The hi-hat's a little abrasive. What I needed to do I have a basic Technique stereo from back in the day. It's got super bass, it's got a treble, and it's got a bass. I never was a fan of graphic equalizers, jostling them 50 knobs every song, every album. So anyway, so I keep my treble and bass on 7. I needed to put the treble on about 8 to give it a little more clarity. And then I needed to put the bass up to 8 also to try to make up for the lack of bass by doing that. So sort of had to turn both of those up a little bit compared to what most CDs sound like. After a song or two, you adjust to the sound, and to be honest with you, I don't know if the sound just gets better or you just adjust to it. Sounds pretty good. Maybe once you do that, it gets up to about an 8. So pretty good. Sounds completely live. Doesn't sound like any cuts or edits as far as I could tell. Listen to it twice. The first listen, I would say you do kind of miss Ace's signature solos. So you do have to get a little used to hearing Vinnie Vince play. First time through, kept thinking that on a lot of, the older songs, but kept thinking it most of the way through. By the second listen, a couple days later, sort of didn't even notice that at all. So that wears off quick. So let's get into the show finally. What's interesting is that it starts out with the turbine, and then you get the tank, which on the box set, I don't know why, unless this was the only show like this, I doubt that. The Super Deluxe Edition has all those sound effects, and it has the tank and then the turbine, so that's just a little bizarre. Anyway, so you get those. Nice to hear those sound effects, nice and clear. Sometimes soundboards or audience bootlegs are cut off in the beginning. Things start with the first song already starting. Not the case here. You get the turbine and then the tank sound. And then we cut into Creatures of the Night. Great version. This is one of my favorites on that album. Awesome. There is about a minute of feedback in it, though, you have to deal with. It's not overwhelming, but it's there. Clears up. Then we go into Strutter. Really pretty strong. Do miss Ace, like you said, the first time around. Vinnie has a fuzzier guitar tone, It's a little heavier, but I would say fuzzier, too. But it's his own style of playing. I mean, he's not trying to imitate Ace's leads at all. So it takes a little getting used to. I'm new to Vinnie Vincent era concerts. So then we get into Calling Dr. Love. That sounds great. Firehouse, this is the heaviest version I've ever heard of Firehouse, and it's awesome. Love Firehouse. Then we get into, I think, my favorite song. Well, I know. My favorite song off of Creatures of the Night, and we get into a little Creatures area here. I Love It Loud. Sounds great. I just read, I think, online that the full band didn't do that whole chorus with Gene the whole way through the tour. At some point, they just let him do the whole song by himself. So you do get the full chorus with both other guys, or all three guys singing on it. Cold Gin is next. Cold Gin sounds great. Does it ever not? Then here's the unique song to Sioux City, Keep Me Coming, off of Creatures of the Night. It's not like my favorite song on Creatures. I just wanted the most, like I said, thorough Creatures of the Night tour experience I could get. And it does sound good, and it sounds better live to me on here than it does on the record. I just like it more. I don't even know why. War Machine is next. That sounds solid. All this Creature stuff is just pretty awesome. Then we get into I Want You. Awesome. Vinnie Vincent does his guitar solo during there. It can get a little gets kind of psychedelic, almost like the Zeppelin-esque, the theremin style. It's pretty cool, though. Way different than anything Ace would have ever done. Then it comes back into I Want You reprise. And then we get Rock and Roll Hell, another Creatures song. That's disc 1. Disc 2. I have to tell you, man, you could say what you want about Paul's singing. I think we can all agree. I mean, we love Paul, right? Obviously. But his singing can be, let's just say it can be a little goofy, especially live, and especially more so now than ever. But Paul sings his ass off on I Still Love You. I would say it is easily the best singing performance I've ever heard him do. And I've seen the Kissology videos. I've seen Kiss live once. It's not even close. He destroys this song. It sounds amazing. And the band nails it too. Let's not forget them. Just absolutely incredible. So there's another Creatures song. Ironically enough, Paul has to address a fan giving him the middle finger at the end of that song, which, if you read about some of the promotional stuff for this tour, They had Ace on all the posters and stuff. So people were coming to the arena expecting Ace and not knowing who Vinnie Vincent even was. So I get that. But just kind of ironic that it happens after what I think is like one of the best Kiss live songs I've ever heard in my life. Then we're on the Shout It Out Loud, which I think that got dropped later on in the tour, so that's kind of cool. It's still here. Gene's bass solo, God of Thunder, and then into a drum solo, which I don't remember being too long or anything. Love Gun sounds solid as always. Paul's little solo thing into Black Diamond. Musically sounds awesome. Eric Carr's a phenomenal singer. Kind of conversely here with the I Still Love You. Eric Carr is a great singer, but he sounds a little wacky on this, man. I don't know what's up with him. He's just kind of a little haphazard. His voice doesn't sound like usually. Sounds really strong. He's I wouldn't say he's got a great voice as Peter Criss, but he's pretty damn good. Not that great here. A little disappointing there. Singing's just a little off the wall. And then finally, Detroit Rock City, which actually fades out early. I don't know if it's a minute or two. So incomplete there. Incomplete grade on that song. Anyway, that'll do it, man. That is the story. Sioux City, 1982 Soundboard, Kiss. Awesome. Like I said, man, I am just a fan of full, complete concerts. If I know there's a version out there so that box set wouldn't have made me happy, especially if I had bought it and then these things came out a couple of weeks or months later. Would have been really disappointed. So I'm glad these came out when they did. Sorry to say it, Kiss, but anyway, that's just my personal view on stuff. Prefer full show experience. It's like you're there, at least audio-wise. I already showed you the cover a bunch of times. On the inside, just a tray card. I was liking that I got a couple boots lately that had at least a 2-page book to at least hold the disc in the slot here. Just a tray card with this one. Here's the inside of that. Pretty cool. Out there on the front cover, which I took out earlier, so you haven't seen it yet. You got the little numbered sticker. What number are we there? Always hoping for, so it's 282 it looks like. I guess that's 500. I wish they would put that on the front. Both discs look basically the same. And they look pretty cool. The only difference being disc 1 and disc 2 written on there. On the back, behind the second disc, nice cool shot of the band. And then, of course, the back cover, which I've already plopped up there a few times for you to see. Real glare issues today. Sorry about that. That's why the pictures come in good. Handy. If you can like or subscribe, that would be cool.